Well, we're joined by TP Srinivasan, a former ambassador who's joining us from Trivandrum. Good morning, sir. Let's begin by asking you, how important is Modi's current visit during the Trump presidency vis-a-vis his earlier visit when Obama was president?
Well, there was continuity till middle of 2016 when Prime Minister Modi went to Washington. There was also predictability because both the sides were determined to improve the relationship. Now the question is, the other side, what the United States thinks about India is still unclear because the president has been busy with setting his own agenda for what he calls America First. And he seems to withdraw from his international commitments and even international leadership. And that is what is of importance, because whether he sees India as a potential partner and a friend or an ally is something which is unknown. So it's only one-sided kind of an approach here. So till he meets him, we have no indication at all that where India is placed in his worldview. Of course, in the last 24 hours or so, there have been some indications, at least from the staff work side. The White House has been saying the right things. An order has been placed for drones. So some kind of an atmosphere is being created, but we still do not know, because of the unpredictability of Mr. Trump, we do not know what he will say to our Prime Minister and in what form. And that is why this is very important, because once that equation is established and we know what he is looking for in India, then it will be easy for us to respond. So there are two aspects to it. One is, of course, the bilateral relationship, which should go on. Doesn't seem to be difficult. Many of those working groups, etc., could be resumed. But the strategic aspect is what is unclear. Of course, in his tweet, President Trump talked about strategic issues to be discussed. And that's the first time we are hearing him talking about strategic issues with India.
Right.
And what are these? Our first priority is terrorism. His first priority is also terrorism. But the terrorism he talks about and the terrorism we talk about are two different things. He's talking about IS, we are talking about cross-border terrorism. So if he ignores cross-border terrorism, then India's sensitivity will be hurt. So the test here is whether he is also willing to criticize cross-border terrorism, which would be a direct reference to Pakistan.
Right. And just to come back to you on that, Mr. Srinivasan, how important is the further collaboration, in fact, between India and the United States on counter-terrorism in the light of Islamic State, especially looking at Islamic State's expansion in India and countries like the Philippines and Bangladesh already? Do you think, if we talk specifically about intelligence sharing between the countries, and how it can, in fact, prevent potential terrorist attacks, do we see that growing forward?
Well, definitely on IS, we have no hesitation in working with the United States in whatever we can. But our immediate threat is not from IS. It may be there, I'm not denying that. But our problem is the constant issue of terrorism from Pakistan, and we are on the verge of war on the border. How do you resolve that is our immediate possibility. As IS is fine, and we will work with the United States, I'm sure, in whichever way we can to counter IS, short of sending our troops. That we have not yet considered. But so that's why I said the priority for us is cross-border terrorism and issues with Pakistan. And that is where there is likely to be a difference of opinion.
And absolutely. And do you expect the US to, in fact, tighten their noose around these terrorist organizations operating out of Pakistan? If you specifically talk about Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed, where China has, in fact, been blocking Masood Azhar for a very long time, the United Nations to declare him as a terrorist. Do you think US can play a significant role, or will it stay put?
No, the US has been very much cooperating with us since 9/11. There has not been any difference of opinion between us that there are no good terrorists and bad terrorists. There are only terrorists. And that approach is shared by India and the United States. And therefore, they should not be condoning any of these terrorist activities elsewhere. So there is perfect understanding between us. But their calculations on Pakistan are different. That's the problem, because they were cold warriors. Many of Mr. Trump's advisors are former generals who know Pakistani generals very well. And therefore, the attitude towards Pakistan will be one of encouragement of their policies, and that is where the United States is unwilling to nail Pakistan as a terrorist state. And that is really where the problem is.
Right, Mr. Srinivasan, and just to understand and give our viewers the benefit of understanding the fact that will the Trump administration in fact carry forward Obama administration's key foreign policy instrument, which is called the Pivot of Asia that we've been talking about, and where does it in India figure out on that?
No, but Mr. Trump is determined to demolish whatever Mr. Obama has built. That is one problem, and India-US relationship is one of them. And that is the fear, that he would like to move in a different direction, and that direction we don't know yet. So, but at the same time, if you look at many of the other issues, you will find that though President Trump talks about new approaches, she suddenly falls into place when it is necessary, like in the case of China. So he had decided to battle China, but the moment the DPRK issue came, he went and embraced the president of China. So his attitude has completely changed, and he has gone back to traditional policies. So he has this tendency to fall back to traditional policies when he finds that he is challenged. So even on the ban on Islamic travel, etc., he has not really gone all the way, because he realized that it was not going to work with the judiciary and so on. So there is a streak of practicability and flexibility in him, but that comes out only when he is challenged or a problem arises and he has to find a solution. So here now that is the opportunity. This is the moment he has to say whether on nuclear deals, on all the other aspects, on defense cooperation, all these aspects that Obama and he had built up, whether he will take that line. There is no indication so far of that.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Srinivasan, for giving us that time and joining us on WION and giving us those analyses. We appreciate it.